When it comes to first-person shooters, there's a ton of variety in which you want to go off of. Call of Duty, Battlefield, CSGO, Valorant, Apex. Each of these games provide a unique charm to them, either by their aesthetics or little quirks that differentiate themselves from the rest of the crowd. But as we rewind time by just a few years, 2 decades, there's one series that has revolutionized and single-handedly pushed forward the first-person shooter genre. Now, it's certainly not the first of its kind, no way, especially in 2001. But in 2001, a new first-person shooter series dropped on the original Xbox console, becoming one of the most influential series of all time, not just for first-person shooters, but for gaming as a whole. Halo is what I would say if I actually lived in that time. Just to give a little perspective, I was born in 2005, years after Halo released and 1 year after Halo 2 released, so I can't really say how influential this or that was, even when Halo 3 released, because I was 2 years old at the time. I was probably playing Wii Sports or something. That honor goes to Halo Reach, which is way past when Halo hit its peak. Or maybe when it did its peak, I'm not too sure. Anyways, I could be one of those YouTubers who are like, oh, Halo was so amazing for its time, and it set the standards for first-person shooters and stories and games, and how its multiplayer was so influential to everything. And although a lot of that is true, I'm speaking from a more personal experience, so I don't really think I'm able to legally say that. With the release of Halo Infinite in less than a month, which is something I'm extremely excited for, I think it's about time I gush my love for Halo all in this one video, and hopefully inspire you to try out the series for yourself, because, let's be honest, Halo isn't as popular as it used to be. It hasn't been that way in a while when other shooters have overshadowed it, but it doesn't change the fact that I love Halo, and it's my channel, so I make the rules. Now, in this video, I have a few bullet points I want to make to sort of get you interested in the series. Starting with number 1, pricing. The Master Chief Collection contained the mainline Halo games, not counting spin-offs. 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, and 4. All for $40. This is a steal, I tell you. Keep in mind all of these games originally retailed for like about $60 each, so doing the awesome math, all these games together are around $360, so you're saving about $320. And you can even purchase the games individually if you're more interested in one than the other, with the individual games costing about $10, except if you're ODST, then you're $5. Combine this with the Master Chief Collection being ported to PC, allows way more players to experience the story of Halo, which I think is a heavy positive when Halo was just limited to the Xbox, and I'm glad Halo Infinite has also recognized this, as there was a whole video about the process of porting it to PC. Not as just like a normal port, but like building it from the ground up to fully match the PC settings, and I think that's really respectable. With it being on Steam and very, very cheap, there's no reason to not get it. Sound convinced? Okay, fine, next point. Number 2, story. Alright, now we're getting into the gritty. The campaign has always been a focal point in the main interest of the series, besides multiplayer, when Halo is brought about. Now, I am not going to spoil the entire story, as I believe playing the game for the story actually enhances the experience so much, so I will be giving a brief synopsis of the first few games, trying to interest you without giving you too much information. Okay, so in Halo 1, we're just thrust into the action, but the background information is that the humans are in an intergalactic war with an alien race known as the Covenant, who wants to conquer and slow all the humans. We take control of a super soldier known as a Spartan, with our name being John 117, better known as the Master Chief. We're on this huge ship known as the Pillar of Autumn. We see a circular floating ring known as a Halo, which is something the Covenant has taken interest in. What does the Halo do? I don't know, it's the name of the game. BOOM! The Covenant has infiltrated the Pillar of Autumn. People are dying, Master Chief wakes up, and Captain Keyes is like, here's my magnum, I don't keep it loaded. But right when you get the gun, it has like the most absurd amount of ammo ever. And then we get to the safe pop, and BOOM! We've actually landed the Halo itself, and has land, has nature, just like a normal planet. It's just circular. Your goal, as the Master Chief, along with Tano Hader, is to roam around the Halo, figure out what the Covenant wants with it, and deal with any other threats that may pose a threat to the human race. I feel like one of the best aspects of Halo to me is how important you are to the story. You're a Master Chief, you're a badass, you're a super soldier in armor, specifically created to fight off the Covenant. You're a one-man army, and it is felt throughout the entire game. It's such a great way of combining both the story and gameplay that fit together seamlessly. You fight off hordes of Covenant on your own without breaking a sweat, and whenever you encounter a group of Marines who are trying to defend themselves, they all say, oh thank God the Master Chief is here. They all know what you're capable of, and they're grateful to you. A large portion of this comes from the amount of dialogue in the game. There is a shit ton of dialogue, and it's not just putting cutscenes for exposition or anything. No, it's just casual dialogue. If you just wait around, Marines will say some random shit, or whatever you do certain actions, they'll emote and do like a booyah or something. It makes the world of Halo so much more lively, and I feel that's such a good thing when you want me to care for the world of Halo. Even if you say the world is in serious danger and you act like the stakes have risen so high they'll make the Eiffel Tower shiver in fear, I don't really feel that way unless I care. It's why the first level of Halo is so good in this, because you know the aliens are beating up the humans, but you get to see firsthand how the humans deal with it. You hear screaming, you hear struggling, you hear them fighting for their lives, there are explosions everywhere, it's chaotic, it's claustrophobic, and you feel the pressure of how much the Covenant have caused. Then, in the second level, when you start rescuing Marines, they all have these voice lines for just casual talk, and it puts you at a ground level, like, they're human too, you know? And you start to think about that, and how they're fighting for their lives right now and could die at any moment. It makes you feel like you want to protect these folks, you know, don't let them die. I remember in Halo 3 when I got into a Warthog and then one of the Marines said shotgun, and that was probably the moment I wanted to protect a specific Marine, because what the fuck, man? And there's plenty more where that came from. You get to hear all of this in the heat of battle, and it gets you motivated to not let them die, because it sucks when they die. It makes you feel like you fucked up, especially when you hear their screams of agony. A great part of the story also comes from its characters. Now this stems from Halo 2 and onwards, but Sergeant Johnson is one of the best characters in the Halo series. He not only serves as a role as the comic relief to the series, but his purpose is more than that, also serving as a morale boost to the Marines and you, the player, as well when it seems extremely desperate. Cortana serves as our partner, our little voice in our head, both figuratively and literally. She's quick on the intervals and usually speaks our mind when we see some crazy stuff.
What is that?
I am a monument to all your sins. Bruh.
It helps that Cortana's importance is heightened when we compare it to the big husk we play as, Master Chief. Master Chief is a blank. He is a slate for the player to self-insert himself, and thus he doesn't really express his thoughts or anything he's thinking. He's no Link, that's for sure, as he does get a few lines to say, and of course, they're all badass.
Master Chief, defend this station.
Yes, sir. I need a weapon. Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
It served for a story purpose, as it helps us insert ourselves into the Master Chief when we're saving the entire galaxy, but it also serves as part of the lore, as Master Chief was a super soldier created to fight off the Covenant. He has no fear, he has no emotion, he only has one job, and it's to defeat those alien bastards. So it makes sense from that standpoint. And of course, it's great seeing the growth of the characters in the games, especially with the relationship of Chief and Cortana, and how each of them help each other learn feelings and emotions, attachments. And he gets more emotional and talkative in the later games such as Halo 4, 5, and now Infinite. And I think that's good. It's a natural evolution of his character.
Do you see that? Could be useful, if you like that kind of thing.
Oh, I like it.
Where are all these skimmers coming from?
Is that what we're calling them?
Well, I was also considering flying octopus monkeys.
Skimmers it is, then.
I also love how each game grows upon the other in terms of lore. In Halo 1, we think the Covenant is just a group of aliens that just want to destroy humans, and how they aren't really civilized or organized due to the sporadic and random behaviors they have, including when they see the Flood, when they start shitting their pants. But in Halo 2, it's revealed that the Covenant are actually led by a whole ass government with leaders and rulers. They have a whole patriarchy, and it becomes very clear to us how the Covenant have been able to take over large pieces of human land. And in Halo 3 and ODST, we see the more human side of the war, the struggles and how much they've been damaged, where we get to see more of the life of Marines and normal civilian workers. In Halo 3 ODST, it takes us a step further by having us actually control a group of humans, and we get to see the close bonds they forge as they attempt to escape a doomed city controlled by the Covenant. If there's one thing I love about a series, it's world building. This doesn't just span over the games. While the lore increases in the games, it's also increased in so much promotional / marketing material, it is insane. I love lore. I love whenever I play Halo and it brings up some sort of plot point. And when I search up in the wiki, I'm almost always greeted with a full article page detailing every event. Bungie, the original creators of Halo, did an excellent job of giving us the bare minimum in terms of exposition in order for us to understand the games. It gives you just enough information to understand, but if you're ever curious, there's always other sources of material you can read or look at if you're interested, something future games aren't really good at. I go back to the first cutscene as a good example. Halo Combat Evolved was the first game in its series, so most players had no idea what a Halo was, what a Covenant was, or even what a Spartan was. The writers of the game had to slide an exposition that didn't seem forced in order to tell the player what was going on without alienating them. Here, read the dialogue. Notice the little context clues were given. We're trying to escape from the Covenant. We were previously at Reach, which we can assume is some sort of location. In this first cutscene, we are given the bare minimum of what is going on. The synopsis, the thesis. We don't have time to actually question the universe and the world we're in, because we have to deal with the situation at hand, which is aliens. This level of writing spreads across the entire Halo trilogy, plus these two, and the way it adds story pieces piece by piece as you continue along the game is brilliant and feels so natural. You may have noticed I haven't been really talking about other games, such as Halo 2 and 3, and I would if I could, it's just, spoilers. Number 3, gameplay. This one doesn't seem like much at first glance, but the amount of detail that's gone into the gameplay should be shown and noted. From what you're seeing, Halo is a first-person shooter first and foremost. It can sometimes get third person when it needs to, but for the most part, you're looking for those visors. One of the interesting elements that is a part of Halo is the energy shields. Just saying the name, you should probably know what it does. It protects you from attacks and such, but this element of a shield is really interesting when it comes to battles with both the computers and players online. Due to the shields, players are always given a chance to be prepared for an attack, as it's almost impossible to one-shot a player without some sort of long-range heavy weapon, such as a sniper rifle. Surprise attacks are still possible, but the other player is always given the chance to get cover or start attacking you back. Another thing that should be noted are the levels you travel in Halo. These levels are almost always massive and full of detail that reward the player for exploring if they so please. They transition this so well. In the first Halo game, the first level is a very linear closed-in space, as you're in a spaceship trying to get the hell out. But once you take that drop pod into Halo and come out, the world is your landscape. This type of level structure is almost a sandbox in a way, where there's so much room to explore while still having a straight pathway. I mean, you could go this way, but why don't you walk over here for no particular reason? It does this in a way where the world doesn't seem more flat and empty, but more full of life, which is surprising to me. I can't think of many games that can fully do that, nonetheless in a first-person shooter. The designs of each of the weapons are so beautiful. Every weapon is designed so that it fits how it would usually look to the common player, but the design is always altered and tinted in order to fit the setting of the Halo universe, where the time is like 2552 or something. You can obviously see that this is an assault rifle, or that this is a pistol / magnum, but it's always exaggerated in a sense. Like, weapons always look bigger than they need to be for some reason. Like, why is this magnum so huge, especially when I pull it out? The shotguns reload from the top instead of the bottom for some reason. It has these pointless lights, but it's become a staple in the Halo series. There's this level of cartooniness that spreads throughout Halo. They definitely had the most fun with the alien weapons. The designs are bombastic, strange, articular. I'm using words I don't know the meaning of to try to convey how weird these weapons are, and it makes sense in the context of the lore. These are aliens, their technology is out of our world, so they function extremely different than ours. The needler shoots out needles that can lock to enemies, and when enough are gathered, all the needles explode, causing a quick death. The plasma pistol is not even the same as the regular pistol. It shoots out little beams that can actually kill enemies really quickly, but its ability to charge up and break enemy shields instantly makes it a powerful weapon. And of course, the energy sword, a lethal weapon that can almost one-shot anything, leaving you to run away immediately once an enemy comes dashing at you. A key factor that separates most of the Covenant weapons from the humans is that they rely on energy instead of ammo, meaning they don't need to reload and just need to be cooled down. Combine this with the ability to pick up any weapon your enemy drops during battle, and it leads to this chaotic mess in the battlefield. There's a certain playstyle that is required for each type of weapon. You can't just switch your assault rifle for a plasma rifle and just expect to go guns blazing. There's not many one-to-one weapons that mirror each other, but the ones that do often have little quirks that separate them. For example, in Halo Reach, DMR and Needle Rifle are almost the same, but the Needle Rifle has a non-existent recoil, meaning you can spam and kill enemies in just a few seconds. There's this flow, which I cannot explain, you'll have to take my word for it, when you play Halo. When the right combination is set, the right weapons, the right level, the right pacing, and sometimes the right multiplayer, it goes from one place to another, one move to the next. It's like a rhythm or beat, going from this level of pace to pace spreads throughout the entire series of Halo, never leaving a boring moment. It's moments, there we go, that's the word. There are so many moments in Halo. They all last just a few seconds, but there's so many of these moments in small intervals so that you're almost always invested. Alright, you had a little snippet of it, so let's just get to the next point. Number 4. Holy fucking shit, this is the most godly music I've had the pleasure of listening to. You know what I said about Halo was known for saving first-person shooters, being influential? Fuck everything I said. Halo is known for its music. Even if you haven't played or seen Halo, you know its music. It's built inside of you. Halo's soundtrack has been one of its focal points ever since its release in 2001. All these tracks are so fucking good. They always give that tingling feeling that gets you motivated. It starts making you start flowing in the air. We have Marty O'Donnell to thank for all of this. He is the main composer for Halo, and he knows his stuff from inside out. Every track goes in sync on what's happening in the game. It heightens it. When you see a cool movement happen in the game, the soundtrack reflects that and pushes it up a few notches. I feel like people really underestimate how much music can go alongside with video games, especially in terms of memory, I feel like. I'll get back to this example later, but O'Donnell had it purposely set to play certain music at certain points in the game. He was greatly involved in the game studio, and you can watch like the director's commentary on Halo 1 to see what he was talking about, but the point is, he knew when to put the music at the right points. Back to the memory example. Music has this effect. When you think of the music, you often think of the memory you have when you heard it, what you were doing, what you were seeing. and its effect is played into Halo. Okay, let's say you don't play Halo, and you hear a track like Tip of the Spear. You're like, okay, pretty cool music. I like the part when the note goes high and I feel like I'm rising to the heavens. But if you play the level where Tip the Spear plays, you're probably like... This combination of music and gameplay permeates throughout the entire game. Damn, I'm learning new words as we go for this video. Whenever I listen to a Halo OST, now that I've beaten all the games, whenever I hear a track, I remember everything. The shooting, the deaths, the amount of deaths. Damn, I suck at this game. But I remember the amazing moments that happened when I was playing the game. When those ships flew by when I defeated an anti-aircraft gun, where I managed to get out of an exploding Halo. That's what the power of music can do. And it always gets me replaying a level or so just to re-experience that memory. Now, I'm not trying to shit-talk the anniversary soundtracks or anything. These came after Bungie's departure from the Halo series, and after it was handled by 343. They basically remade Halo 1 and Halo 2. They're not bad. Some of the tracks are amazing, like Follow in Flight. I heavily recommend using the old soundtrack, along with the old graphics, which leads to my next point. Damn, I'm good at these. Number 5, presentation. If you look at the graphics now, in the old games specifically, just Halo 1 and 2, you might say it's a bit dated, and I kinda have to agree with that, but I think there's a charm in the way Bungie decided to tackle the graphics and art style. I'll say it right now, I think Halo's graphics 1 and 2 are a bit timeless, a bit dated, but timeless. I know I just contradicted myself, give me a second. Halo's tone and art style has always had a way of expressing itself in that cartoonish way? Let me explain. Even though the game has a bunch of blood, like no really blood comes out of everywhere, it conveys it in a funny way. It's not gory to be like gory as some other games, but for example, whenever a grenade hits an enemy or ally, they don't internally explode and guts splatter everywhere, they get flown to the air and scream, ah! Guns don't have this realistic sound effect, but something that sounds a bit more like something I could make with my mouth. This level of a sort of cartoony tone affects designs as well. Enemies are colored in these bright and dark colors that, for starters, matches the art style, but also serves as part of the gameplay as it helps to distinguish what's an enemy or if it's just another marine you just accidentally killed. It's like a sci-fi mix with light-hearted tones, you know? I've just been focusing on Halo 1. The same applies to Halo 2 and the other Halo games. They still have this level of cartoony/funny tone that I'm really glad they kept throughout the series. As technology went along, they didn't try to make the graphics super realistic, Minecraft 4K or anything like that. It's a nice balance. Like, Master Chief still looks like a full-on action figure and I love it. If you want to see the amount of polish done in the series, look no further than the AI Marines. These Marines, or even any allies you encounter, always have a ton of idle animations, and put so much life to the game. And this started from the first game in the series. I talked about it earlier, but the amount of dialogue and lines that are put in this game is spectacular. They went full above and beyond for no particular reason. And these also apply to the enemies. Some of these enemies have some dumbass voice lines and I love it. The only exception to this is, spoiler alert, just a little one, skip to here, is if you played Halo, you probably guessed it, the Flood. These things are the most horrifying things I've ever seen. I'm gonna see if I can do this in one take. And I'm very happy with the art style that Halo was chosen, but even then, the Flood is just scary. Even in concept, parasitic creatures that infect you and take over your body, spraying spores and just doing it to do whatever the fuck it wants. It's one of the times I both hate and love the design for the Flood. Because when you see the Flood form, you can see the human face, the bones, and the other human body parts that once were before the Flood came in and messed everything around. Especially in lore, these things can outright be horror elements if they weren't already. And some people are still conscious when they're infected, and they just have to suffer getting their bones ripped apart. I'm very glad I only played Halo Reach when I was young, because that game didn't have the Flood. I know if I was 7-year-old and saw this, yeah, you get the point. Ironically, the one Halo game that doesn't have the same art style or graphics is Halo Reach, which is the one I played when I was younger. Its art style and graphics is a point of contention for some people, but I think it looks nice. It's a unique take for sure, but the graphics were made that way to reflect on the game's story, which takes on dark topics, as the whole premise is an alien race committing genocide on an entire planet, so the tone is darker. there's a lot more bleak moments, so I think this represents it perfectly. I mean, it still has a funny tone, you still get flung to the air when you get hit by a grenade. I just find it funny how my parents let me play this game specifically, but not the other games. But honestly, I'm happy about it, because you know why. For Halo 1 and 2, there's a lot of problems with the anniversary/updated graphics for it. There are a ton of videos explaining the problems with it, and I want to at least encourage you to try out the old graphics. I think Halo 2 Anniversary looks way better than Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, but I heavily recommend trying out the old graphics. Some textures in the Anniversary version are just not there, some textures don't align, causing collision to be a bitch, and the realistic graphics sometimes prevents you from seeing enemies when in the original, the enemies were painted bright and dark colors to separate themselves from the environment. I mean, I won't kill you if you don't, but come on, man. There's another point. I guess multiplayer, but I don't know, there's not much I'm gonna say about that. Create the word toxic. That's the one thing I can say that multiplayer has done for the entire game community as a whole. But no, my mouth's getting kind of dry. I wanna end this video. All right, summarize. Buy this game. It's $40, and if you do, play the game on heroic or legendary. I'm not gonna say you're a pussy or anything if you don't. I just want to at least encourage heroic, because I think it provides a fair challenge. When a character in the cutscene is like, this is gonna be a tough battle, you want to feel that challenge. When it takes you a few tries to beat the level, you feel that desperateness, just like how the humans feel against the Covenant. But you will push through. You will. Maybe with a guide, but that's how I believe you should play it. I think I've expressed all my thoughts on what I want to say about Halo. It's only been recently that I've played all the Halo games actually, as I've had only Reach and ODST on my belt since childhood. But after playing it, I can see what the fans see. It's such a beautiful series filled with iconic moments and music that can only be seen as timeless. I encourage you to at least try it out, and I believe you'll find an amazing experience if you do decide to try it out. You may have noticed I didn't mention Halo 4 or 5. I haven't played them, nor intend to. Just go play the bunch games and watch a lore summary video after. I'm very intelligent. Also, Red vs. Blue. I should have implemented this video somehow because Red vs. Blue is very iconic. Yeah, they used Halo for that. Okay, how do I end the video?